In a minute, each screen is going to be showing different undercover footage taken from different parts of animal agriculture. So that screen, you can tell it's about to show footage from the dairy industry. That one might be the egg industry or the meat industry, the leather industry, but all the industries that are using or exploiting animals.
We were talking about Meatless Mondays.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to do that, I guess.
Yeah, I never did Meatless Monday, but it's super common. I've definitely heard about it. What inspired that for you? That's pretty interesting.
Well, I take more of the what's it called, climate change aspect of it, because it's, like the meat industry is like really a huge polluter. So, and it also helps animals, might as well,
For sure. Have you ever looked into the sort of like ethical conundrum of these industries, or have you ever had a reaction to that?
I've seen like what's that undercover one on Netflix that everyone's talking about? Food Inc.
Yeah, okay.
Food Inc. And it's just crazy. Like how talking about like the dairy, how they like artificially inseminate them so they can like produce milk and stuff.
Have you also seen some footage like this before, or?
I've seen the ones of like when they make little baby chick nuggets with the little baby chicks, and that one's kind of
What does that look like? The footage. What was that footage of?
It was just like how they like cut their beaks and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh.
Yeah, that we do show some of that here. Do you know why they cut the beaks? Have you also seen footage of? They do it with different male chicks, but chicks being put on a conveyor belt that drops them.
Do like a.
Do you know why they do that? No. You want to take a guess?
Because the male ones don't produce eggs, or what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
The male don't produce eggs, so they're useless.
So that's actually something that the egg industry does. It's not the meat industry, and it's not for chicken nuggets, but it's because in that industry, males are being born and females are hatching every single day, but the males don't make a profit for that industry. Yeah, so they're just seen as a waste product because of the profit margin.
Oh, Jesus.
But it is a person-to-person basis. So for you, what you're seeing here is what a slaughterhouse looks like.
Yeah.
This is standard practices. This is what's considered a humane slaughter in a slaughterhouse.
Oh, don't they do a bolt into it, or is it air?
The bolt already happens.
Yeah.
And the bolt is meant to stun, not kill.
Oh, really?
The bolt is not always effective. And then from there they slit their throat, which is the fastest way for any living being to bleed out.
Yeah. Arteries.
So everyone does react to this differently. How does it make you feel? I know you've seen some footage like this before, but
horrible, yeah. Of course
yeah.
Aww.
It's okay. I really have cried a lot spending time with this too.
We saw something on Twitter today about minks and
for eyelashes.
Mink eyelashes and stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing the ways that animal exploitation ends up filtering its way into all these different facets of it. It could be the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the makeup we put on.
Yeah, they test on animals and shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What can you help me understand specifically what it is about seeing footage like this that is upsetting, or what it is about seeing animals in these situations that feels upsetting?
How they're helpless,
That they're helpless?
They're voiceless.
Voiceless?
Yeah. Because you wouldn't do this to a human, why would you do it to an animal? But,
yeah. So when it comes to this happening, it's happening all over the world. It's happening in Tennessee, in every city in this country. What is the reason this is happening, do you think? Whether it's 10 billion, in this case, a pig, so whether it's 10 billion pigs or one pig, like, why is this happening to these animals?
Capitalism, bro.
Capitalism, right? Yeah.
I mean, people don't really, they're insulated from it.
Yeah. Could you tell me more what you mean, like when you say capitalism? I think you're right, but
because it's just, I mean, people want their bacon, right? So they're gonna eat bacon. We had bacon today. God dang it! Oh no!
You're talking to somebody who ate bacon like every day of his life.
Dick, this is what happened.
It's okay. I told you I've never done Meatless Monday, and I've eaten bacon every day of my life, so it's okay. When you do see like a farm where pigs are raised or the way the pigs are slaughtered, does it affect the way you think about?
I guess you just don't really think about it when you're eating.
You don't really think about behind before it gets to your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just think, hey, like let's get some bacon, and then you don't think that like you just getting bacon is gonna cause.
So you said it's capitalism. So if we decided we weren't comfortable with this and we didn't want animals to be treated this way, what is something like each of us could do individually to end this?
Talk with your wallet, I guess.
What does that look like?
I guess you just not. Oh, jeez. I was like not.
And by the way, if there's anything you're seeing that you're just like, what? Like if you need something explained, you can let me know. I can. Yeah, that's called tail docking. Again, that's standard practice, no anesthetic. It happens when they're babies. Well, do you have any ideas about what just we can be doing?
Good.
Yeah, that's really
I can tell you, I've been to many pig slaughterhouses. They have them all covered up, but sometimes if you walk around, you can find ways to peer in, a crack in the wall, whatever. This is exactly what they look like. The closest one here I went to was in Louisville, Kentucky. It looked exactly like this. And when you're outside of the walls of these slaughterhouses and trucks are driving in constantly, you're hearing screams coming out of them, squealing and screams, and this is the standard slaughter method.
Yeah, that's a gas chamber. It's done right.
Yeah.
It's like we're not getting bacon.
So just if I were to challenge that for a minute, like when it comes to, like if we had a problem with this, so we decided not to eat bacon, what is it about that would actually affect this industry, do you think?
What do you mean? Like what do you mean?
Like if I'm against this, so I'm like, okay, I guess I won't eat bacon. Why is me not eating bacon going to affect this industry?
It's obviously going to shrink after a while.
I feel like, say that again?
One less person eating.
Yeah.
And then you can influence somebody else, and that's another, yeah.
That's awesome. So it's actually sort of two solutions to the problem, because you said it's capitalism. It's kind of like supply and demand. As we decrease our demand for these products, they decrease the supply.
Yeah.
And then it's also about the way we affect the people around us, like whether it's friends or family. What about the other industries? Industries like dairy or eggs. We were talking about the grinder, mink for eyelashes.
It's just like taking it one step at a time.
Okay.
Start off with meat, or start off with beauty products, and then to make the transition easier.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question about that. I hear that a lot. It's actually very common. Let's do it one step at a time. Meatless Monday is an example of one step at a time. When it does come to other sorts of issues of like justice or injustice, come up with an example like racial injustice, right? If you discovered I was racist, and you had a conversation with me about it, and I said, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't discriminate against people based on the color of their skin. I'm only going to do it on the weekends.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
Oh, dang. So you're coming. Wow, you just got my ass.
Yeah, you did.
Well, how would you feel about that? If I was to say that to you in the conversation?
Like, I walk away.
You walk away?
That's a really good analogy.
Well, I'm not going to walk away.
That's a really good analogy. Dang.
That's true. When you put it that way.
Put it that way.
Does that affect the way you think about this issue?
Yeah.
How so?
That makes sense.
It's not something you can do part-time.
Yeah.
If we do it part-time, let's say we were to be vegan 6 out of 7 days of the week, which is that's a lot more than a lot of people are doing, right? So only on Monday we're not, let's say. What do you think that Monday is like for the animal that we're eating or forcibly impregnating or caging or?
Individually, still gonna happen. Yeah, didn't think about that.
Does that sort of change how you think about what the solution to this problem might look like?
Well, do you think you could still eat meat humanely, or no? Do you think there's any way to ever do it?
I don't know. What do you think that would look like?
You could. Well, I mean.
I actually would be curious to know what would that process look like?
Well, I've heard of free range chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
Free range eggs, and
I will say briefly, but I think this is a loaded topic, that what you're seeing right now is a free-range chicken farm. And free-range specifically does mean that egg-laying chickens, or what are called broiler chickens, those are the chickens that we eat, those chickens, it means they're not kept in battery cages. these tiny cages like the size of an iPad. It instead means that they're kept in these warehouses. And rather than being caged by bars, they're just caged by each other. They're just packed into these warehouses. But that aside, let's sort of just imagine what a truly humane piece of like flesh to eat where that might come from and what that would be like.
I've heard of people like hunting for their own meat. Like I know a couple people where all they do is just like they'll kill 1 or 2 deer, like go hunt it, and then they'll use that for like 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're taking its life.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's better than it growing up in captivity. And like,
I think I understand. Does that make sense to you too?
Yeah.
I mean, if I understand you correctly, what we're showing here is disgusting for you. It's like it's upsetting, and it's sad. It feels like an issue, but at the same time, you're feeling that there might be a way to like source animal products in a way that doesn't involve this type of violence or suffering.
Could you like?
Would you say
I wonder. Well, I mean, if it was to be done, I feel like a company would like seek out to do it, like maybe kill them when they're about to die. But I don't know if the product would be like the same as if you killed them like in their like youth,
right?
Or like adulthood.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never heard of anyone doing that ever.
No, I think the question you're asking makes so much sense, and it's actually a really important one because most people see this and they have one of two reactions. They either like walk away as quickly as they can, or they get upset. So it makes sense to ask the question, man, like, how can I still enjoy the food I like in a way that like doesn't inflict any of this violence? I think it's a really important question.
Well, I think really like I heard lab meat, like Beyond Meat and stuff.
Oh, like lab grown meat, for sure.
I think that will be like the answer in like 50 years. People will look back like, oh, Grandpa, you ate steak and meat from real animals, and your grandkids will think you're barbaric for it. But apparently it tastes really good. I sent you that video. This video.
On a cellular level, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the DNA is the same.
If we could have like lab-grown meat, I'd eat that.
You know what? I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like if you gave me, maybe for health concerns, I wouldn't, but from an ethical stance, I feel exactly the same way. I'd be in an ethical sense, I'd be happy to eat a lab-grown burger.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I think you used the word like humane earlier. I think that's a tricky topic because people define that word differently. So like, what is humane? If you wanted to eat in a humane way, what does that mean for you?
I mean, get your meat without any suffering.
Without any suffering? Would you say the same way? Like if I was like, hey, here's some humanely sourced chicken wings, what would that mean for you?
An animal that wasn't put through all that.
Okay. So in this case, let's say I had with me, you can use any animal, but let's say like I had a 6-month-old pig here. I say 6 month because that's the age pigs are slaughtered. 6-month-old pig here, and this pig has the best life. Like I take him to the park, we'll go walking out in the sun every day. He has his own bed in my house, and then while we're out here, I'm like, I'm getting a little hungry. Give me a moment, and I like sneak up behind him, and I'm just gonna shoot him in the back of the head, right here. This 6-month-old pig. So this pig has the best life and it never sees it coming. And there's no pain, instant death. Is that a humane way to treat that being, would you say?
I don't know. Well, you're ending its life prematurely. So.
You think ending anybody's life prematurely can be humane? Assuming they're not in pain or
I don't know.
it's not. Yeah.
It's the same thing as murder.
This is mink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah. So what would, practically speaking, like what would prevent you guys? I mean this sincerely, like what would feel like something that would prevent you from walking away from here and truly not contributing to these industries?
I feel like I don't know, maybe you feel like you don't have a big impact of like negativity on the world, like a carbon footprint or this. But I mean, I eat meat every other day, so I can't really like. I don't know. I really don't know. Besides going vegan, how to help?
Is that something you would do, or you feel you would be able to do?
I've thought about this for like years. That's why, like, when you say like, oh, you're not gonna like the 6 out of 7 day analogy, that made me think. But I don't know. eventually, like, hope to.
Yeah.
I'm really just like looking
And
forward
I want you to
to
know when I ask you like what would stop you, I'm not asking as a way of like coercing you to
Yeah.
say something. I actually would be curious to hear what would feel like the issue or the thing that would stop you, you know? Man, my best friend in college was vegan, and I should say I am vegan now. I've been vegan for a few years. But I used to think veganism was so dumb. And I would tell it to my friend's face. I was like, this makes no sense. And I could never imagine doing it. So that's part of why I'm asking it. I feel there's a lot of reasons that hold people
I
back.
think people like don't agree with the culture sometimes. You know, like vegans get like a bad rap.
That's for sure.
Hippie, and, like,
In some ways, maybe it's deserved.
yeah,
Some
or,
vegans
like,
can
you
be
know,
quite pushy,
like,
right?
from big cities, like you talk to people from like small cities, like, oh, I'm not gonna do that shit. I want to eat a steak. Doesn't matter to me. So.
Yeah.
Seeing this, it just makes me think I don't think I'll enjoy like if I was to eat a burger.
That's a good point. Like if you were in a rush, like for
Yeah.
convenience, and you went to, what's an example of something you might get in a rush?
In a rush, Chick-fil-A.
At Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
that's a great example.
Yeah.
And so you go in Chick-fil-A, but where they normally have the venue, they're showing this footage.
Yeah.
Would that affect your decision making, even though maybe you are in a rush or you're
Yeah.
feeling picky? Yeah.
I mean, I could always like meal prep too.
You know, I'll tell you a bit of my own experience, which is like for me, I was worried about cheese and eggs because I'm obsessed with eggs. Yeah, and I liked good cheese too. I liked like smoked Gouda and Havarti and like some of the more interesting ones. And what I ended up doing was going to the grocery stores and really spending time at their like plant-based cheese sections and trying a lot. And that meant trying some that like I didn't like and finding the ones that I did. But even at Kroger, they have 2 or 3 different brands that are making cashew cheeses, hard cheese, soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta take it to Mod and Love. They have like mozzarella sticks. Yeah.
But it's not mozzarella.
And that's not mozzarella. It's
Yeah, there's also a bunch of pizzerias here in Nashville that have do vegan cheese with cashews and whatnot. Yeah. If you'd like, I'd be happy to just give you a card you can take with you. It's just got some resources if you're still thinking about it on the road.
great. Thank you.
I think there's a first one, which is a YouTube video. It's called The Best Speech You Will Ever Hear. It's a university lecture, and it's super impactful. And I think if the gears are turning at all after this conversation, this is like a great follow-up to that.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Benny.
It was really nice talking to you.
Nice talking
It was a
to you.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.